Okay, good morning folks. So, hope you enjoyed that live stream last night. I certainly did, and it was really nice to interact with you guys. I really enjoyed that. That was so cool. So, anyway, not sure exactly what time it is off the top of my head. I think it's probably about 20 to 8 or something. Let's have a look. I haven't looked at the watch for a little. Oh, in fact, it is 5 to 8. So it's 5 to 8 in the morning, and basically I got to work for around about 7, and guess what? Guess what happened? Yeah, you guessed it. I got the wrong shift again. Oh my god, again for some reason I thought it was the 8 till 12 shift. So I gets there about 7 o'clock, because I like getting there early anyway, because then it gives me a chance to have a coffee, have a fag, chill out, like I said, you know, and get myself prepared and ready for going in and getting on with it. And anyway, so I gets there, and one of my colleagues, one of the baristas, and he turned around and says, "Paul, you're not supposed to start until 10. And I'm like, what? And at first I thought maybe he's just pulling my leg a little bit, you know, because sometimes, you know, they do that, you know what I mean, just have a little bit of fun and whatever, blah, blah, blah. So at first I'm thinking like, oh, he's just pulling my leg, like. And I says, what, no, serious? And he goes, no, honestly, just go and check on the roster upstairs. So I went upstairs to the staff room, and I checked, and lo and behold, yeah, for the rest of this week, it's 10 till 2 shift. So, oh, flipping heck, what am I like? Oh my god, that is, oh. Anyway, gives me a couple of hours to wander around. So this, by the way, where we are, is the A.K.A. gallery. I have been here a few times before. I've done vlogs here. Obviously it's way too early for it to be open yet. But yeah, this is the A.K.A. gallery, which is on the King's Road, which is a very posh, very exclusive part of London, I tell you. You know, you've got to have some money to live around here, I tell you that. Well, I imagine, just judging by some of the properties and stuff around this area. Yeah, so yeah, I come down this way mainly because, like, you've got that little place called the Orange Square, and you know, it's got fascinating history, actually. It really has. I was reading it earlier on. But I came down further down this way because I needed to go. Do you know what I mean? It was like when I got off the train this morning, and then like went to Victoria train station, and I used the facilities there, and then like I come out, and just wouldn't you know it, it was like I had to go again not long after, and like, and for anyway, look, you know, maybe too much information anyway, so blah 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 blah. But anyway, so that's why I came down here, because as luck would have it, there's one of the prep shops is just down here, so you know, popped in there, and anyway, blah 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 blah. Sorry, yes, I know it's a little bit too much information. Sorry about that, folks. Anyway, so now that we're all sorted and fine again, so let's kind of head down to Orange Square, and I'll show you some of the history of it. It was really fascinating, actually, really interesting. So yeah, but as we go, I'll kind of just show you the highlights. Oh, and also as I was walking down there, because one of the other things I love about that little area, one, it's nice and sort of picturesque. It's quite a nice little part there. Really like it. Not sure what it comes under, whether it's Victoria, no, it's not Pimlico, is it? I'm not sure what it comes under, but anyway, it's a nice little area. And one of the other things I like about it is there's a ton of art galleries around there, and antique shops and art galleries and stuff like that. And there's one particular art gallery I'm going to show you when we get there. And there's a painting in the window, and it looks like a photograph I've seen from an abandoned Explorer, and it's essentially an old library, maybe in some sort of like you know, some sort of I forget what you call it, like an old stately home or something, and there's like a couch, and then there's like all these books and bookshelves, and there's like a load of books all strewn all over the floor, and it's done in a sort of impressionist style, so it kind of looks slightly, yeah, I guess you could say it's impressionist. I don't know, maybe that's debatable, to be quite honest. Possibly impressionist, but nonetheless it's a really eye-catching piece, and I really liked it, but also, like I said, it intrigued me because it looks like an abandoned Explorer. You know, it's taken from an abandoned Explorer photograph. That's kind of how it looks, and it's just down here anyway, so yeah, I've got it on the old little tripod thing here, and I've noticed this, I swear to God, this is getting looser every time I use this thing. So, because I kind of like it in the sense that, but when I get that money, I'm going to invest in a better one. Do you know what I mean? It's like Joanne used to say, well, used to probably still says, but it's like Joanne says, you know, you get what you pay for, essentially. You know, so you pay peanuts, you get monkeys. I love that saying. That's one of her sayings. I love that. You pay peanuts, you get monkeys. And she's right, though. It's true. You know what I mean? Because like this thing was from the pound shop. You know what I mean? And it's like it's, you know, it served its purpose up to a point, but you know, it's, I say, over time it's getting more and more loose and wobbly. So, and every time I try and swap hands, you see, because I've also noticed on a few occasions now, what I'm going to have to start doing, you see, the thing is, and I don't know if this, it probably doesn't come across, perhaps, actually, there's a zebra crossing, we'll cross up there, it probably doesn't come across in my videos, and it's not, I mean, it's most of the time, but not, there are times when it's a lot less, say, but I'm always full of anxiety, and it's like a constant companion, if you like. It's constantly with me. There's not a heck of a lot I can do about it. Like I say, it's a constant companion. It's with me. I've been like that all my life. You know what I mean? So, but anyway, the thing is that I think that inhibits me a little bit in terms of my creativity, in terms of what I do, in terms of the videos that I make and stuff. And I think that kind of really inhibits me in some ways, because I'm thinking, I noticed in some of my videos, I've noticed that there are times and moments when the camera work is not particularly good. It's a bit all over the place. Wow. You know, that's another thing I've noticed as well. That when I'm filming in the street, there's so much traffic noise. You see, the thing is that obviously as I'm walking about, not necessarily doing a vlog or whatever, when I'm walking about, I don't really notice it so much because you tune it out, you know what I mean? Because you live with it all your life, you know what I mean? I've lived in cities all my life, so I'm used to traffic noise, you know what I mean? And so over time, your brain just learns to, you know, essentially tune it out and not notice it as much. But the camera obviously doesn't have any of that, and it just records whatever the sound is around it. And because, like I say, as I'm walking along and doing a vlog and talking to you guys and pointing this out and that out and blah blah blah, you know, there are moments, don't get me wrong, as you, like right now for instance, I'm definitely noticing how loud it is at the moment, but sometimes I'll be walking along, chatting, doing whatever, and you know, I'll be walking down the road like this or wherever, or somewhere even busier, whatever, and like I won't really notice the amount of traffic noise necessarily. And then when I play the video back, I realise just how loud the traffic noise is. And even me watching it back, I think to myself, flipping, that's a bit annoying. You know what I mean? Because I think, like, flipping, I can hardly hear what I'm saying. you know, in certain moments at least. Anyway, anyway, yeah. So yeah, again, sidetrack myself. But so yeah, I've noticed that the camera work, you know, it's a little bit shaky at times, and at times I'm not necessarily pointing in the direction I'm talking about sometimes, or at least, you know, not properly on it. And like I said, when I turn the camera around and I'm walking along and I'm chatting, I notice that the camera seems to be halfway down here somewhere. Do you know what I mean? It seems to be sort of like pointing at the what's saying when I'm trying to aim for a sort of eye level. Essentially, I always try to get it round about my eye level. But of course, as I'm chatting away and I'm looking round, because that's the other thing, is I'm not always necessarily looking exactly where the camera is pointing. Because, you know, obviously I've got to be mindful of my surroundings, you know, crossing roads and so forth and what have you. And it's the perfectionist in me. You know what I mean? It's the perfectionist that, you know, I want to try and do the best that I can possibly do. Do you know what I mean? I want to try and give you guys the best quality as much as I humanly possibly can, given the limited resources and so forth and so on and so on. You know, so, but I've noticed that, and I've also noticed that it's partly due to my anxieties, especially when I'm in a busy, crowded area. You know, the thing is that I do become very self-conscious, even though, oh wow, oh boy, just can't win, can we? Just cannot win. Thank you, mate. Cheers. Really needed that. Right, anyway, so this is the art shop I was telling you about, or the art gallery I should say. This one, for instance, this is really cool. I mean, I really love this. When I saw this, I'm like, whoa, that is really awesome. I love it. I mean, it looks like they've actually used a section of concrete and then obviously prepared the surface of the concrete. Now, whether the concrete, they deliberately made those holes, or whether, I would suspect that that was deliberate, rather than they just found an old piece of concrete with holes in it. Then again, they might have done, I don't know. But I love that. I really love it. That is awesome. I love that painting. I really do. That is so cool. And I love the fact that they've used, like I say, this essentially what looks like a lump of concrete, essentially. I think it's flipping awesome. I absolutely do. Now, the other thing is, there's one of the paintings of the books. I don't know how easy it is for you to see that, but I'll tell you what, let me show you the one in this window here. You'll probably see it clearer. See, now, this is the painting I was talking about. Right, now you see that essentially it looks like one of those libraries in like some sort of stately home or something. But if you notice, there's like what obviously appears to be like books strewn all over the floor. There's books all over the shelves that are just, you know, strewn everywhere, sort of thing. And it's got that look. It's got that urban decay look about it. And I swear I've seen either a similar, if not the exact same picture in Urban Explore videos or on Instagram or something. I can't remember, but I've definitely seen a picture online that looks either identical or very similar to this. And it's really intrigued me, because I'm thinking, like, because obviously, I'll say obviously, I'm in the process and have been for a good while, because again I've not got back to it for a good while. I keep telling myself I need to get on with it and finish it. But that canvas that's on my easel in my bedroom, I don't know if you guys have noticed it. actually doing it. I have been for over a year now. It's definitely over a year that I've been doing it, because I keep going back to it every now and again, doing a little bit and then leaving it for another 4 or 5 months or whatever. But you know, I've been doing the same thing, and it's taken from a photograph that I took from that urban explorer that I did at Homerton Hospital, and you know, it's just really intrigued me, because I thought, like, yeah, that would be so cool to do that as a painting, and obviously somebody else had the same idea, I guess. But yeah, at some point I don't know when this place opens, but I don't start until 10, but I mean, I think it's just gone 8 now. That looks pretty cool. Looks like some really awesome paintings in there. I really must try and check this place out. Maybe this afternoon, after work, see how I feel. Yeah, maybe. I'm not 100% certain. I mean, I'm not a million miles away from work. Victoria's only just up here. But you know what it's like. I finish my shift and I feel super tired or whatever. I mean, I've been up since 5 this morning. So yeah, yeah, I'll have to give that one a bit of thought. I kind of want to though. But anyway, yeah, so I might come back here and check that gallery out, because I'm really intrigued by that painting, like I said, and I want to see if they've got any information about it, and you know, who the artist was, and you know, do they know anything about the actual painting? You know, is he an urban explorer himself, maybe, or he knows the urban explorer, where the picture came from, or he copied it from a picture offline or whatever, I don't know. But I'm really intrigued and I would love to find out. But yeah, so this is Orange Square. Victoria's just basically carry on round there, and just it's like I say, it's about a 10-minute walk or something, maybe a bit more, but not much more than that. Yeah, I like this little area. It's really nice. There's something really nice about it. You know, because it's the way it's set up and the way it looks. It's got almost like a villagey feel to it, and you know, with all these plants and stuff around, and trees, and you know, you've got an old church just over there, and I just like it. You know what I mean? There's something very picturesque, I say, about this place. But yeah, so let me go and show you some of the history of it as well, because I was reading the blurb, because again, you see, that's the thing about talking about stuff, you know what I mean? That's, you know, it's yeah, it helps you to you know, process stuff, I guess, do you know what I mean? So, but yeah, so this is Orange Square. That's Mozart over there, by the way, that little statue, you can see that. But yeah, let me show you this little thing around here, this blurb. But yeah, I love it. It's a nice little picturesque square, I think. I've been here a couple of times before, and I have done vlogs here before. But yeah, look, this is the little blurb here. And it was really fascinating and interesting, actually. So that's kind of like how it used to look. And also before that, it was like a fields, open fields and stuff. So like the junction of Pimlico Road, Ebury Road Street, sorry, known as Orange Square, was improved by Westminster City Council with a financial contribution from the I can't read that word, Grosvenor Estate, is that? And provides a suitable setting for the statue of Mozart. Anyway, I don't read the whole thing, because there's some words I can't read, and I sound like an idiot when I can't read them. This popular route west to Chelsea and the Royal Hospital became one of London's main pleasure haunts, with numerous taverns, coffee houses and tea gardens. A further boost to the district's popularity came in 1742 when, see, I can't read that, Randall Gardens and its famous rotunda illustrated on the reverse side were open to the public. What else? Blah, blah, blah. Oh, blimey. Yeah, so what else was there? Was something else interesting that I thought, oh, that was really interesting. So today's remaining link to the royal past is Orange Brewery Public House. The earliest reference to this building is found in the Grosvenor Estate archives, where there is a record of leasing. Yeah, this was it. This was the bit. 1776 of the recently built Orange Coffee House and Tavern to one I.B. Eagles. The tavern stood on roughly the same site as today's building, and when advertised for sale in 1790 was described thus. And I love this word particularly. These premises are commodious. I love, that's such an old word. Such an old word, but what an amazing word. I love that. Commodious. I say it, this is a very commodious place, you know. And comprise a good billiard room, large dining room, a coffee room, bar, kitchen, bedrooms, spacious dry cellars, larder, stable, various outbuildings and garden. And I just thought, wow, I love that sort of oldie language. Do you know what I mean? That's so cool. Commodious. These premises are commodious. And look, there's the Royal Orange Theatre. I don't think that still stands now. But yeah, no, it was fascinating. It's really fascinating. Now, there's supposed to be a picture on this side, I think, of something with sort of, the engraving of the rotunda in Randall? No, hang on. I don't know how to say it. Pleasure Gardens in 1751. There's a wasp flying near my head. Right, yeah, so, yeah, okay. But yeah, Mozart lived here apparently as well for a little while. But yeah, so, there you go. I just thought it was really fascinating. And like I said, I loved that little bit where the original advertisement for the building in 1790, and they were saying like, these premises are very commodious. You know, what a fantastic word. You know, I love some of the old English, you know, oldie-worldy English words that you very rarely hear spoken or used these days, but sometimes some people still use some of that language, but you know, not in everyday conversation necessarily, but still, I love it. I think it's so cool. I love that commodious. See, you can tell I love it, the fact that I keep repeating it, because I just think it's such a cool word. But anyway, yeah, because I think that, and again, this is just my perception, it's straight off the top of my head, so I haven't really put a lot of thought into it necessarily, but it seems to me that the oldie worldy language was so much more poetic and descriptive, I think, compared to today's language. Do you know what I mean? And the way we use language today, that's just off the top of my head. It seems that way to me, that like oldie worldy language, it was so much more descriptive, so much more poetic. Possibly, I don't know. You know, maybe I'm wrong. But it just, from my perception, you know, obviously I was brought up in the 60s and, do you know what I mean, in the 70s, whatever, and so, you know, essentially brought up in the 20th century, and brought up in the modern era, in a sense, you know what I mean? So from my perspective, that language that goes back 200 years, whatever more, to me, from my perspective, sounds that way. It sounds much more descriptive, much more poetic, and so on, sort of thing. So, I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not that much different than the language we use today, and maybe even some of the words we have today are just as, if not more so, poetic and so on. And I guess maybe also it's the way you use words. I mean, when you think about it, somebody that writes stories or you know, even factual books and stuff like that, when you think about it, it's also about crafting the language, isn't it? It's how you put the language together. So yeah, interesting. Right, there was something else I was thinking about, and as usual, completely forgotten about. I swear there was something else, but what the heck was it? Oh boy. Anyway, this has been a bit of a long vlog actually, and a continuous one at that. Wait a minute, have I actually... I don't think I've actually stopped vlogging from all the way down back at brain's gone again. Yeah, what the heck? Oh, that's... yeah. Because normally I'll do a little, you know, I'd stop and then do something else and blah blah blah. But I mean, I know I've done continuous sort of vlogs, especially on Saturday. You know, there was quite a few where I was just walking and talking for ages. But I don't know, this just seems... I don't know. Sorry, folks. Anyway, yeah, there was definitely something else, and I'm racking my brains as we speak, trying to remember what the heck it was. I know there was something, but just for the life of me at the moment, I can't think what it is. Anyway, anywho, nice flower shop there, look, and there's me. Hello. But yeah, I like this little part of Victoria or whatever it is. I have no idea if this is still Victoria or not. I mean, Victoria is literally round this corner anyway, so I'm just assuming and making an assumption that it comes under Victoria, but for all I know it might not be. I'm not always aware fully of all the boundaries and stuff. Look, there's a sort of like antique shop here. So yeah. Okay. What does that say? Oh, I hate being dyslexic. It's really annoying and frustrating. How do you pronounce that? And I feel such an idiot. I do. I feel such an idiot. Ugh, I hate it. I hate it. I hate the fact that I can't read certain words because of my dyslexia. Yeah, so I'm quite sensitive about it actually. You know, it's funny because, you know, for a long time I've been very dismissive of it, and mainly because I've tried to hide it a lot of the time, because I do feel very much like an idiot when I can't, you know, because I mean, reading is supposed to be like one of the most basic functions of, no, maybe not functions is the right word, but you know, reading is supposed to be one of the most basic things that as human beings we learn to do. Do you know what I mean? And you know, when people, and the perception even today, although I think hopefully because the awareness of it is changing, and people are being much more understanding, I think, and in general sort of thing, but even today there's still this sense and this sense of and perception that if you can't read, you know, because of dyslexia, particularly, but and again maybe other reasons as well, whatever, but you know, if you can't read, then you're perceived as being stupid, essentially, and you're perceived as being not intelligent, and that happened to me. That happened to me throughout my life, you know, and that's exactly how I was treated for a long time. People, you know, would treat me as if I was thick and stupid, and you know, and particularly as a child, I internalized that, because that's what kids do. You know what I mean? You're told that enough as a child that, you know, you're not very bright, and you're treated in that way as well. I mean, the fact that I was put into a lower class at school, because the school, the way our school worked back then, I don't know how schools work now, but you know, you were put into the class depending on your grades and depending on what they felt was your level of competency. See, I can't even say that now. Competency, and depending on that would depend on which, you know, because the letters of the name of our school, Central. Oh, so much noise. You can't. sorry. Right, before I go off on another tangent. So I'm gonna go back up this way and get away from that noise, sorry. Everywhere you go, just noise, noise, noise. How do YouTubers get on filming in London at all? I mean, flipping heck. There are some little quiet pockets here and there, even during the middle of the day or whatever, you can find them. In fact, there's a little square here, a little garden thing, and it looks like it's open. I'm going to go in there. Hopefully it helps to muffle some of the noise a little bit. Sorry. Just hate having to compete with it, you know? Right. Okay. Nice little garden area here. Hopefully we can have a little bit of peace and quiet a little bit. Anyway, yes, sorry. So, our classes were named after the letters of our school, which was Central. I mean, it was Central High, but they didn't use the high bit, just the central bit. And the lower classes, the classes where they deemed the children to be not able to do higher stuff, you know what I mean, whatever, science and all this lot, blah blah blah. So that was like C-E-N-T-R-A, and then L was obviously the lowest class of all. I was in A class, which sounds like I was in the excellent class, but I wasn't. Anyway, no. But the thing is that was all because I couldn't read. I didn't learn to read until I was 14 years of age, because I had to go to special remedial classes, as they called it back then, to learn to read. Because, like I say, you know, I was dyslexic, but it was never diagnosed at the time. And because of that, like I say, I was put in a lower class. As a consequence of that, I never actually got to do science like the higher classes did. They all got to do science and stuff. We did about 2 or 3 different little science classes, but that was it, you know what I mean? And that was throughout the whole of my school life, you know. But anyway, to cut a long story short, have I cut a long story short or not? But basically, in terms of my dyslexia, you know, it had an impact. It had an impact one way or another, and you know, so the perception, like I say, is that you're thick and stupid, whatever, blah blah blah, this, that, and the other, da da da. And these days, obviously, I'm well aware of the fact that, like, no, that's far from the case. Absolutely far from the case. But you know, to some degree, society still has a bit of that sort of perception of it, and you know, because of that, to be quite honest, I am quite sensitive around it, and I never really, like I say, I guess I kind of dismissed it and just tried to muddle through as best I could, and didn't really look at it in any great depth. But over the last couple of years, for various different reasons, various different situations that have occurred, has made me think I have to revisit that aspect of myself, because the thing is that, you know, like I said, you know, it really impacts on me, and it really makes me feel shame, and it makes me feel stupid, and you know, so when I'm trying to read stuff, and I'm trying to read it, and I'm struggling reading a word that for maybe other folk, they can read it as like no difficulty at all, and I know that a lot of people now, and the vast majority of people, would be much more empathic or whatever, and understanding and so forth, but you know, that still makes me feel that way, essentially. But anyway, sorry, you know, you see, stuff just comes out of me from nowhere sometimes, and the thing is, I have discussed this before in other videos, and sometimes I feel like I'm repeating myself all the time, but also it's because I'm also conscious of the fact that I've got new subscribers, and they might not necessarily know some of my history or whatever. So it's kind of like I feel kind of obligated to perhaps explain some of that history whilst I'm talking about stuff and this, that and the other, because that's, you know, the thing is that it's not always necessarily easy for people to go back and check some of my earlier videos, because I've got over 2,000 videos. I've got 2,100 and was it 2,179 videos. This will be, with this video, this will be 2,180 videos. So you imagine that you try scrolling back to some of my earlier videos, they're not going to always be easy to find. So apologies if I'm kind of repeating myself to some of my regular subscribers that already know this history. So apologies if I do repeat myself sometimes in videos. Mind you, I do it quite a lot, you know, even within one video or whatever, within, you know, a couple of minutes I'm repeating myself a lot of the time. So apologies if that you find that a little bit annoying or a little bit off-putting or whatever. So right, okay folks, now I'm starting to think I've still got at least an hour and a half before I'm due to start. It must be about, I think I noticed the clock just a minute ago, I think it said about 8:30. So but I don't want to just keep vlogging continuously for another hour and a half. So I think maybe coming to a natural conclusion of this video for now. Again, you know, as I always say, I don't know 100% if something may crop up afterwards or in the meantime or whatever, as I'm wandering around for the next hour and a half. So for now, I'm going to leave it there, and I shall catch you guys later. Bye for now. Okay folks, so I just had to do a quick vlog here. This is the Pret Academy. This is where they train the baristas and the hot chefs. And yeah, I came here one time when there was we had for like new members, whatever, that we all came here for like a meet and greet type thing, and yeah, it was pretty cool actually. Yeah, I just thought, like, whilst I'm sort of walking around and sort of in the vicinity, as it were, I thought, like, oh, I'll just mention what's the name. And one of the things I love about this thing here on the door, I love what it says on this door here, because I think that's so indicative of Pret, to be quite honest. Is, look, it says Pret's future team members, managers and CEOs walk through this door. I love that. Do you know what I mean? The concept, the idea that it doesn't matter who you are or where you come from or whatever sort of thing, that there's a possibility that you could walk through that door and be a future CEO, possibly. Do you know what I mean? I mean, just the idea, just the concept. Do you know what I mean? Just the you know, I just think that's really, really cool, because I like that, because in some ways it kind of instills a little bit of sort of, I don't know if hope is the right word, but, you know, it instills you with a sense of like, it feels inclusive. It feels like, you know, just regular folk are not being like excluded from the possibility that they could, you know, rise through the ranks or whatever, and that could be achieved possibly. Do you know what I mean? I like that, because it feels inclusive. Whether the reality is, do you know what I mean, is another question in itself, really, when you think about it, because like there's lots of barriers in terms of our social standing, especially in this day and age that we live in, particularly I think more so than ever. But again, that's my perception and it's just my opinion. I'm not saying I'm necessarily right, you know, but that's just my opinion of it. But nonetheless, like I say, I think it's a really nice idea. I think it's a really inclusive thing, and like I said, I think it's indicative of Pret, that like they essentially do, I think, generally speaking. I mean, of course, there's lots of different individual experiences and so forth and what have you, and sometimes the realities of working in that environment are not always necessarily you know, work out to the ideal necessarily, but that's the same in anything, isn't it, when you think about it. But I think that's one of the things about Pret, is that, like, I think at least it tries, you know what I mean? It tries to be that inclusive and whatever sort of thing, and gives people a leg up and helps people and stuff and whatever. But anyway, that's my perception. But yeah, okay folks, so I guess for now I'm just going to head back down towards my shop, and as usual, if anything in the meantime crops up or whatever, I shall endeavour to vlog it. I'd love to, you know, when I think about it, it's like vlog it, and I immediately think of Flog It, which is the antiques programme that's on the BBC. I don't know if it actually still runs anymore, to be perfectly honest with you, but every time I say that, it makes me think of that programme. So, okay, so basically I'm going to leave it there for now, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now. Hi folks, so you see this building here. I have vlogged it a couple of times before, well, way back though, when I first started working at Pret, I think, more or less. You see this part of it here, with all the metal scaffolding and what have you, all that framework around it, basically to support it, because that's the original facing of the building. And then I was looking at the modern concrete part of it, and I was thinking to myself, you know, like I've said many times before, like, you know, why can't they build buildings like this anymore? Why don't they build them sort of like, you know, in this sort of style, which is a bit more interesting or whatever? And of course, then we've always, you know, well, I've always thought that obviously the obvious reason is expense and so forth and what have you, sort of thing, and maybe even in terms of practicalities and so on, in this modern age of construction, you know what I mean? It's all about speed and stuff and getting things put up quickly and, you know, this, that and the other and what have you, sort of thing. And anyway, so, you know, I understand all that, and I get that that's, you know, maybe it's all about practicalities and so forth, and money of course and what have you. And then, like I say, I was looking at it and I'm thinking, like, so okay, they've kept this part of it, which is great, you know what I mean? I mean, why not? I mean, flipping heck, it is fascinating, and, you know, and then it's history and so forth and what have you. And then I started thinking, well, surely they're not necessarily, I mean, sometimes they do with some buildings where the modern and the old get mixed together, sort of thing, and sometimes they blend them, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't, I think, in terms of aesthetically at least anyway, and maybe even practically. But and I started thinking to myself, I wonder if they'll continue this, but obviously, you know, build a new sort of you know, facade, you know, in the same sort of style, but obviously it'll be brand spanking new. Do you know what I mean, in that sense? And then I started thinking, so basically, in a way, I suppose they can really build, you know, buildings to look like that, but not necessarily you know, the whole structure. Do you know what I mean? Just the facade of it. So, yeah. Anyway, things that run through my mind, I tell you. Flipping heck. The things I think about, things that, you know, cross my mind whilst I'm walking around and looking at stuff and looking at buildings and so forth and what have you. Really fascinating. But yeah, so yeah, maybe they can actually build buildings that, you know, look more like the 18th century or whatever, or 19th century, whatever, whenever these things were built. And it is possible. Maybe. Right, okay folks, yeah, I know, sort of vlog-a-thon time again, just you know, one more vlog to add to the collection, but it's like I've just said in the previous clip, or the previous little vlog, you know, I'm loving it. I'm loving doing my vlogs at the moment, just really enjoying it. So, okay, again, for the time being, I'll leave it there, and I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now. Hi folks. Yeah, and yeah, another video. Yeah, I was just thinking about that actually. I was just thinking that these days, for some reason, I don't know, I guess it's because I'm just really enjoying vlogging. I mean, I've always enjoyed it anyway, I really love doing it. Like I've said many times before as well though, that like I really want to try and do really top quality videos for you guys, and do sort of like better content and so forth, rather than, I know a lot of you guys love these, I know you do, and don't worry, it's not like I'm going to stop doing these kind of vlogs or whatever, do you know what I mean, because I love doing these as well, but like I say, I always want to try and improve, obviously. But yeah, I was just thinking to myself, it seems to me that my vlogs at the moment just seem to be getting longer and longer. I mean, the last few, I mean, okay, the Saturday one was kind of understandable in the sense that, like, flipping heck, do you know what I mean? I was walking around for hours and walking all over different parts of London and so forth and what have you. But, you know, it's like, I'm just really enjoying doing these vlogs at the moment, and I don't know, they seem to be uplifting me a lot, and not only that, it's like the feedback that you guys give me, that is a really big part of it as well. It's the feedback that you guys give me that's really just helping me to. I just feel really buoyed up at the moment. I feel really. I just love doing my videos, I really do. And even if it's just one of these where I'm just waffling on about whatever. You know what I mean? You know, it's like, I love it, absolutely love it. So, if these videos are getting a bit too long for you guys, and you're saying like, look Paul, I'm not being funny, but can't sit through an hour video, mate, do you know what I mean? Or, you know what I mean? Or you much prefer the shorter ones or whatever, you know what I mean? I mean, like I say, I try to accommodate as much as I can for everybody. I've tried to cater to everybody as much as I can, obviously, humanly possible. Because I think it's only fair, because you guys take the time and effort to, you know, to leave comments and to watch my videos, and the fact that you subscribe to my channel and so forth, because all of these things help, you know what I mean? And again, do you know, that's another thing, and maybe this isn't the time to be having a chat about it right now. Maybe I could save it for the live stream on Monday, I don't know. Maybe we could that will come up in the subject matter anyway. But I was thinking, looking at it, sorry, it's just gone right out of my head. What was I trying to just say then? I'll have to rewind the footage and try to remind myself of what I was trying to say. Oh, flipping heck. Sorry folks, it's just, for some reason it's just gone completely out of my head. Something about content, videos, you guys, feedback, subscription. Oh, that was it, got it. So basically there, what I was also thinking about just then, and what I was going to say, and maybe leave for another video at some point, is this issue around in terms of monetization and stuff and what have you, because the thing is that, like, I've not monetized my videos. I don't know how long it's been now, to be quite honest. It's got to be at least a good couple of years, easy. And because I haven't monetized my videos for a good number of years, and it doesn't bother me. It really doesn't. Yeah, this is why I need. This probably isn't the best moment to be having a discussion about this. I think so. If you guys can remind me in the live stream on Monday that I want to talk about, you know, in terms of my channel's status or whatever, and in terms of the monetization, and in terms of like Patreon and what have you, sort of thing. So in terms of all those things, I would like for you guys to please remind me, in case that, because chances are by the time Monday flies around again, there'll have been so many other things that have come along and what have you, sort of thing, that chances are I'll quite possibly forget to mention this. But I'll try to think on, and maybe I'll mention it here and there in other videos throughout the week. Just give it a quick mention here and there, or maybe I'll find a moment or a time, or maybe even at home, maybe I'll do a video and then we can talk about it in much more depth and what have you, sort of thing. Yeah, it's definitely something I need to sort of think about more, and try to think about, you know, what direction am I going to take it, you know, in terms of not my content or anything like that. I mean, in terms of like I say, the monetization of my videos and stuff, and what have you, sort of thing. So yeah, definitely need to think about that. So okay, for now, I think, you know, it's definitely. I mean, I think it's about. Actually, let me just double check a minute. There's a clock in this shop here. Right, so it's 9 o'clock, so I've still got an hour yet. As usual, as always, I'll, you know, I have no idea whether there'll be any more vlogs today or not. I mean, maybe, you just never know sometimes. But for the time being, at least, I'm going to leave it there, and I shall catch you guys later. Bye for now. Okay, folks, I know, but I just had to show you this. I've been meaning to show you this for ages. So I'm in the prep where I usually have my lunch, and yes, I'm in the loo, blah blah blah, but I just wanted to show you this. So anyway, you use the convenience, blah blah blah, but watch this, because there's no flush mechanism. You don't push that button there or anything like that. I love this. This is so cool. So obviously, whatever, blah blah blah, and then you move away from the loo. How cool is that? You don't press any buttons, you don't what's the name, you just obviously do your thing, and then you walk away and ta-da, it flushes. I think that's so cool. Oh, I know folks. Oh dear, sorry, I do show you some very odd things, don't I? But I just think it's really cool, don't you? I mean, it's like, you don't have to press any buttons, do anything, you just, you know what I mean? It's like flipping heck. Oh boy, human beings for you, eh? What did I tell you about human beings? By nature, we are lazy. We are, do you know what I mean? It's in our DNA. It's plain and simple, do you know what I mean? I mean, who would come up with the idea of, like, you know, you can't even be bothered to push a button or to pull a chain to flush the loo. You get a machine to do it for you. I mean, come on, flipping heck. And you're telling me human beings aren't biologically designed to be lazy. That's my excuse anyway. I mean, okay, fair enough. It's not what's it. It's just more about, you know, saving. It's about saving energy and stuff like that. It's not meant as a. Anyway, I've explained this before. So before you jump on me and say, well, I'm not lazy, because I'm not saying for a minute that people are just like, you know, lounging around doing nothing. Because that's not in human nature either. But anyway, full of contradictions as usual. I'm going to leave it there for the most unusual vlog I've ever done, I think. And I'll catch you guys later. Bye for now.